So with the drones in Jersey, I've been thinking again of this very boring movie that Jorge Peña is in. Although his name is not Jorge Peña, his name is Michael Peña. But with a last name like Peña, it's so painful that when you're trying to remember his first name, that the name that you remember is some sort of equally painful name like Jorge Peña. Anyway, so the other day I woke up where I was going to sleep and I realized what this movie was missing. It was missing character. Pardon the hair situation. My understanding is that sanity is merely a format. That was quite the revelation. It's kind of like when they joke about missing your mark in Hollywood. Oh, you missed your mark. Anyway, so this movie with Jorge Peña in it, I was watching this movie, it was super boring, and I was wondering what was missing besides the excitement. And of all the movies that they try to decide who did Groundhog's Day, this movie is never included because this movie is boring. Sorry that I can't kidnap you, I apologize. Sorry. So what I realized what's missing from this film is character, specifically character development. And
something told me you was gonna get
so in this movie that Jorge Peña is in, he does a very arbitrary, non-specific, non-specified, non-detailed job. He goes into work carrying some sort of extension cord and a toolbox. Like, he carries the extension cord home with him, and he carries the toolbox home with him. Or maybe just the extension cord. And there's some sort of like robot drone invasion. Then he dies and he wakes up, but he doesn't think that it actually happened. He thinks that it's a dream. And this happens over and over again. And what is not interesting about this movie is that this guy doesn't know what a camera is. Body language is a thing. Anyway. This happens over and over again, where he wakes up, gets his extension cord, gets his toolbox, goes to work, and then goes home and interacts with his family, who are also without details or without distinguishing features. I think it's played by Zooey Deschanel, or someone who looks like Zooey Deschanel, and a little girl with brunette hair. Anyway, what's missing from this film is character and character development, because he never says, I definitely know the future, I definitely had a dream, guys, I definitely have insight into what's going to happen tomorrow, I definitely have insight into what's going to happen today, or whatever. It never happens. Instead of individual character development, he just wakes up over and over again after dying from drones, and eventually his environment slowly wakes up to the reality that they're being attacked by drones. He never has a connection with another human being in his environment that trusts him. Not in the entire film. And I realized that that is what we call character development. That at the beginning of the film, he has a couple of dreams, and he's unable to convince his friends. But then halfway through the film, he's able to go into the brains of the people he's in the environment in and take over their behavior so that they act like they trust him and that he's able to have a team and a family. He never does that. He has a wife and he has children, but they never believe in his dream. I never realized that until now. That his dream only belongs to him. Nobody else has dreams except him in the movie that Jorge Peña is in, but his name is Michael Peña. But when you're trying to remember his name, you think his name is Jorge Peña, because with a last name like Peña, it's hard to remember something as simple as Michael. You think his name, oh, what's his name? His name must be Jorge. With a last name like Peña, you go, oh, I can't remember his name. Maybe his name is Jorge. You know, they say that the X-Men movies are the X-Men's time travel family stories are convoluted. They should have Jorge Peña, Michael Peña, sit down and go, okay, so this happened. Okay, so, and then go through the entire story. And that would be the entire breakdown of the Marvel X-Men universe. It's like, okay, so this happened and this happened. And instead of having movies and introducing all of the different actors that are cast, they'll just have Michael Peña, Michael, Jorge, hormones, consent, hormones, consent, Jorge Peña, Michael Peña. Oh, you got one? I just saw like a chubby brown middle-aged man that had the posture and facial expressions of an average American. Like, oh, you had one average American hiding somewhere in all of these buildings? Ugh. I don't know. I guess that the overarching theme of the video is that not only are there no more experiences that I would describe as interacting with people, or that I can't find any, but that even if I did find one person to interact with, that it would be, hey, it's like a alien invasion, or hey, my life has been ruined because I believe the things that they told me in public school. Hey, my life is ruined because I believe the things that they taught me in public school. That they told me in public school, I believe them. I believe the things that they told me in public school, so everything that the children taught me, you can be sure that I went to the adults and to the principals and said, "Is Santa Claus real?" So probably the reason why my life is ruined, considering that the news has told me that all the super functionally people are super pedophiles, maybe all the somewhat functionally people are somewhat pedophiles. And maybe all of these things are what is, instead of character development. Instead of character development, you have somewhat pedophilia being prolific, and not even in a Japanese way. At least in Japanese, they're like, duh. I guess in America, they're like, duh, too, but in a different way. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about the way that you use child abuse to vet who gets to have money. I felt like talking about how Michael Peña's sci-fi movie with the drones has no character development. And also Jersey, and the drones in Jersey.